Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. This is my first video of 2025, so thank you so much for checking it out. Last year I was down in South Florida for a college graduation for a family member of mine. It was really nice. Seeing them so happy to finally be done with college was definitely worth that long ass drive. I figured though I might as well kill two birds with one stone and make some stops along the way to really explore some new areas and of course take some photos. A real extended photo drive, if you will. So that's exactly what I did. I had my Canon Rebel 2000 with me, already loaded up with some Kodak Ultramax 400, so I grabbed that and I hit the road. Where I was staying was so close to this beach in Fort Lauderdale that I figured a beach would be a nice place to start this trip. And I was not wrong. Even though it was so hard to find parking, it was absolutely a beautiful start to my morning. I love that I get to start the video off with these light leak filled photos. This happened because when I was getting ready to leave for the drive, I opened my camera thinking I had no film in it, but boy was I wrong. So I shot a couple blank frames to keep it going, and I just prayed that the whole roll wasn't ruined. Luckily, there were only a couple of photos that were affected, but I really like the dreamy look this light leak gives these photos. Well, I just left the beach. I'm currently driving to see some family down here in South Florida that I haven't seen in a while. It is a little bit of a trek, so the beach was really nice. It's pretty early in the morning, so there's not a lot of people there. I haven't been to the beach in South Florida before, even though I've been to Miami a bunch of times. I was always just playing a show or something, so I never had the time to really go to the beach, but... And after a wonderful lunch, I hit the road for real. I headed up towards Delray Beach, which would be my second stop of the day. Specifically, the Morikami Japanese Gardens. My boss strongly recommended me this place since he knew I would be down here, and the last place he strongly recommended me was the Cedar Lakes and Gardens in Williston, and that place blew my mind, so I definitely needed to check this place out. You might think it's a little bit strange for a Japanese garden to be located all the way down here in South Florida, but there's actually a pretty interesting reason why. In the early 1900s, Joe Sakai, who was a recent graduate of, I think, New York University, returned to his homeland of Miyagi, Japan, to organize a group of pioneering farmers and ultimately led them to what is now the area of Boca Raton, Delray Beach. They ended up forming a farming colony there that they named Yamato, which is an ancient name for Japan. By the 1920s, most of the families and farmers had kind of returned to Japan or moved to other parts of the country, except for George Morikami. And he eventually donated his farm to Palm Beach County to be used as a park, which was ultimately named after him. Here's a bit more of those aforementioned light leaks. But once again, I like what they add to this photo of the bridge. Those beautiful green tones really pop when next to the orange light of the light leaks. I like this photo a good bit. The way the railing is two parallel leading lines is very pleasing to me. The gardens were so beautiful. They surround this lake, and every single angle you have of the water is just an absolute picturesque moment. This is one of my favorite photos of the day. The subject is this giant rock in the garden, of course, but you have the corner of the building poking out as a foreground element, with the walls of the garden and the tree behind as a really, really nice background. The muted colors as well add a sense of tranquility. You know, I don't know, there's just something about this one I just really like. This place was just so tranquil and so peaceful. Even though it was miserably hot out, it is South Florida after all. The inside courtyard of this building was pretty cool, serene, calming. I think this picture helps you get that sense. And inside this building was a little museum, which was very cool. It had a lot of cool pottery and paintings and photos and such. Another favorite of mine from the day. It almost feels like we are in another country here, truly. The bridge in the far back, the beautiful lake, the gorgeous trees. Doesn't feel like we're in South Florida. In the main building, there was another huge museum section that had a lot of really cool exhibits and historical artifacts. It's something I quite enjoyed. I didn't take a lot of video through here, but here's this little sampling. And that was the end of that part of the day. The gardens and museum were absolutely stunning, and I'm really glad that I stopped by. I definitely want to go back when it's not quite as hot out. It was very pretty. So after leaving the gardens, I headed back on the road towards what I thought would be an abandoned hotel. So I am in a little tiny town somewhere south of Orlando. I was browsing Atlas Obscura and
I found something called the Heartbreak Hotel, which is rumored to be where Elvis wrote or it inspired his song Heartbreak Hotel. Alice Obscura said this was abandoned, but there's actually cars in the parking lot, so I don't know how abandoned this place is, but it's still a cool little building, so I'm gonna go take some pictures of it. But first, I have to load some new film. I ran out of film at the Japanese Garden, so I'm finally putting in another roll of everyone's favorite Portra 400. Here we go. Now we're ready to rock.
Not gonna lie, I was disappointed this place wasn't abandoned. However, I still got this photo I like.
There's nothing like traveling on the back roads of Florida. Just wide open spaces. One car every 10 minutes.
After I left the Heartbreak Hotel, after a little bit more exploring, I headed up to Orlando for my last stop of the day. Those gardens really ate up a large portion of the day, and so I didn't have that much daylight left, and I wanted to get home. But I couldn't end the day without stopping by Orlando's premier camera and hobby store, Colonial Photo and Hobby. This is a wonderful store that has a ton of stuff in it, and I always make a point to come by, especially because Gainesville doesn't really have anywhere that sells film besides Walgreens and Walmart. Also, I recently found out that this building is actually an old Publix, which is pretty cool. I wish they still made them like that. It just looks really fucking cool. This photo was pretty underexposed, and that bums me out as I actually really like the composition of it. So I left Colonial Photo, but I needed to get some gas before the final leg of my journey home. The last photo of the day is also a bit underexposed in the shadows, but I really love the composition once again. All those power lines crisscrossing behind the sign, the really pretty sky. It's a cool photo. And that was the end of a very long and very full day. I had an absolute blast exploring all these new places that I'd never really been to. I did a lot of traveling and exploring in 2024. I started this YouTube channel to help document all that. And sometimes life gets in the way and I can't share these videos with you guys as often as I would like. But I'm gonna try really hard this year to keep these going at a little bit more of a consistent pace. Let me know in the comments below if you know of any places that I should go check out in Florida, South Georgia, just anywhere in the area. I love exploring stuff. I love taking photos, and I want to bring you guys along for the ride. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching and supporting my photography adventures, and I will see you guys next time.